I'm not worried about Zack Moss is what I'm trying to say here. I think give me all the Devin Singletary shares.
BRB Blazer.
Yeah, so I've seen Devin Singletary. I know he was a guy we were probably all pretty hyped on, I think. And then they go out and they get Zack Moss. I think at first glance, kind of thinking that could hurt his value, but I'm still all aboard the fucking Devin Singletary train.
Me too.
I think Zack Moss just kind of replaces that Frank Gore role in a sense. But just some crazy numbers here on Devin Singletary. I mean, he had that one big week 1, then he got hurt. But from weeks 9 to 16, he out-touched Frank Gore in every single one of those games. And in 4 of those 8 games, Frank Gore still got 10 or more carries. So they were still giving Frank Gore heavily utilized in those games. And then he actually out-snapped Frank Gore in 10 of the 12 games that they played together. So he was the guy for this team, even with the guy like Frank the Tank out there. I think you bring in the rookie, like we said, there's no rookie minicamp. He's still got to learn the offense. He's still got to get acclimated. No preseason games. So I think it's going to be a while for Zack Moss to really kind of hone in and really take a good chunk of these running back carries. I think Devin Singletary is going to be the guy in this offense. And I put it right here, hashtag interesting stat. 23% of his attempts went for 10 or more yards. So he's an explosive guy. 33% juke rate. That was 3rd best in the NFL. So give me all the shares of Devin Singletary. I think he's been going in like the 4th round a lot of times in these mock drafts we do. He might even be slipping.
I feel like later possibly.
Yeah, he might even be slipping. But, he's a guy where I'm not worried about Zack Moss is what I'm trying to say here. I think give me all the Devin Singletary shares. I think he's one of those sneaky guys that, like he will fall in these drafts, but he's going to be, a top 15 running back.
Yeah.
Love Devin Singletary.
I think me being in Dynasty, like I've been all over this dude for for like 2 years at Florida Atlantic. He was just efficient as hell. He was a machine. And that, alluding to your 33%, that's like his number one thing. They were like, he can shake you out of a phone, like in a phone booth type.
Yeah.
But what was crazy, big runs, he was 8th in the NFL with 11 big runs. His big run rate was 7.3%. But the one that I thought was crazy, where did it go? This one right here. He had 1 goal line carry. That's it.
That's pretty, yeah.
62nd. But, everything else, like he's good. He's efficient. His yards per carry is good. Even watching him, he just gets chunk play after chunk play after chunk play.
Was that his 1 goal line carry?
That was it right there.
He only had 2 touchdowns on the ground. You got to think that.
Yeah.
He finished his RB 32 in PPR, RB 31 in half point PPR. He only played 12 games, and he only had 2 touchdowns. That was one of them right there on the highlights right there. You think he's got to – that's definitely going to go up.
Yeah. And his yards per touch was 13th in the NFL, 5.4 yards. As a rookie, that's what else could you ask for? It's just he's his stature. He's more like a between the 20s guy, but I think eventually you're gonna progress as a professional. So I think this offseason he gets a whole offseason under his belt. The COVID, he's gonna have an advantage over Zack Moss. He already knows Zack Moss is extremely behind. So I'm all in on Singletary. That's my.
If he even pushes close to that same efficiency. I don't know if we know who the goal line back is, but those
Josh Allen.
Well, yeah, we do know who the goal line back is, but
Generally
those guys who are 5+ a carrier roughly, they don't struggle in the red zone. They're good at all assets of the game. Alvin Kamara's not the biggest guy, but you watch him in the red zone, he was efficient. Some of these guys who are they're maybe not the biggest guys, but they get the chance, but they're hyper efficient backs. They know how to just read defenses, and they know how to pick their hole and go, and they score touchdowns. So. Like you said, I think to start the season, game 1, I'm not putting Zack Moss at the goal line when we've seen him for
never.
I don't know how much training they're getting in there. I'm putting Singletary in there, so it's going to be he's going to be the veteran in a sense, even though he's only 2 years, but he's going to be the veteran. So, and I know I brought up the Ravens offense. It's I'm not saying they're going to be the Ravens offense, but I think they do have potential to be a really good offense this year. And if they do, Josh Allen, let's just say they score 20 rushing touchdowns, it would be like top 5 in rushing touchdowns. Josh Allen could take 8 of those. It's still roughly 12 to go anyway. And let's just say, Singletary gets 7 or 8 to Tyler's points with the touches and the efficiency and the big plays, all that. If you do that, he's going to end up being probably with 7, 8 touchdowns, another receiving 1 or 2. Let's say he's going to probably finish. That's a top 15 finish right there. So I like the upside. I think the draft made his stock go a little bit too low. I think he's going to get majority of the work still. I like Devin Singletary. He's actually someone I've been like low key in my mind targeting. And
he's like the perfect RB2 for you.
Yeah.
Perfect RB2.
No, bro.
Man, that clip was informative, huh? Well, there's plenty more right here if you click that. Also, go ahead and subscribe right there.